You know, you only have to read the headlines these days to realize that religious liberty is so much more complicated than it used to be. I want to share with you a story of a faithful Adventist couple who recently discovered that living their faith was so much more difficult than they imagined.
It's a good place to raise our granddaughter.
Very good place to raise a granddaughter.
The river runs by, it's quiet and peaceful.
Well, I'm Jim Blaze, and this is my lovely wife, Gail, and we live up here in Northeast Washington.
This is Seventh-day Adventist Church here. I'm the leader of the community services.
I help Gail out in the community service, and I help out in the children's Sabbath school class, and I preach sermons from time to time.
My son called me because my granddaughter was pregnant and said that she had had her baby, but the state had come and taken the baby at the hospital, and the baby was now in foster care. We got a letter, and several other people in the family got one, asking if there was anyone that would be wanting to adopt this baby. So we answered it after we thought about it and prayed about it and said, yes, we'd like to adopt her. She's my granddaughter. We called Idaho and told them we would like to adopt my granddaughter. The state of Washington had the licenses, so we went in, we had an appointment with the licensor, and we went and talked to him for a little bit. And then he came out to the house after we filled out a lot of paperwork, and he did a house inspection.
He looked around our log home here, and he thought this is a very nice home, and he thought it'd be a nice place to raise a child.
He knew we were Seventh-day Adventist, and he was quite approving of the being Seventh-day Adventist. At one point of the questions, it was right towards the end, the topic of the LGBTQ movement came up, and he asked if we was familiar with those terms, and I said yes. But we wasn't really expecting him to ask us about it. This is a baby. She was like 3 months old.
One of the things here that really shocked Gail and I was when he started talking about gender identity and making comments that if she, even just a few years old, if she wanted to be a boy, would we be willing to help her along those lines? It really did shock us. We weren't expecting that. Now when a person's 18 years old and they're on their own, that's their business what they do. But when we have a baby and through the youth and up in the teenage years, we believe that we have to be responsible and say no, that we would not be willing to go along with that, even though we love the child very much.
He said, well, this isn't going good. Don't spend any more money getting the house done or getting your tests or whatever. He says, because this isn't looking good.
We eventually got denied by the state on the ground of this gender identity, that we would not be able to be licensed for foster parents. We're talking at a prayer meeting, and we're asking people to pray about this because we really didn't know what to do. And the pastor and one of the elders said that we should contact the religious liberty arm of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And we've been very blessed with the counsel that we've received, and it provides for not just Seventh-day Adventists, but for all people that are being religiously discriminated upon.
We're very fortunate to be part of the Seventh-day Adventist Church that has a service that can help in our religious liberty issues and will help stick up for us for what we believe.
Unfortunately for the Blaze family, their fight is over. But I am glad to report that their granddaughter was eventually adopted by a loving Christian family. As for the state, well, it continues to discriminate against people of faith, and Adventist attorneys are continuing to defend other people on this issue, not just with the state authorities, but also in the courts. This month, we remember religious liberty, and we support through our finances, through our prayers, the work of Liberty Magazine. This journal, it's 115 years old, and all through those years, Liberty Magazine has been opening up a Christ-centered, unique Adventist message about religious liberty to our nation's lawmakers. But it's not just the work of Liberty Magazine, it's also the work of government advocacy, building relationships with public officials on behalf of the church. And of course, it also supports the vital work of legal defence, defending families such as the Blaze family, and also defending other people who are faced with the heartbreaking choice between keeping their job or remaining faithful to God and keeping the Sabbath. So I want to thank you so much for sharing Liberty in your community and for supporting Liberty and the work of the church with religious freedom, with your finances. But most of all, I want to thank you for your prayers as together we work to be a public witness for Christ in our nation.